let me tell you a story. And no, not about bantam cock or these hex screwdriver things. No, this is about Trojan, which you'll see in a second. So, a couple of weeks ago now, I took Trojan to the park, not for me to play with. My missus, Amy, is driving these things now and gaining experience in doing so, and I have to say, doing bloody well. Having not driven for over a year, she needed no instruction, she just got on with it. However, during running, Trojan developed a rattle. Now, some of you may know that I've told in person what previous rattles on Trojan have meant. When Trojan develops these kind of rattles, I get nervous. Why do I get nervous? This goes back to our visit to Canvey. I forget the year. 2019, maybe. So, we was at Canvey. I was first on track. Trojan steams up very quickly. No tenders to worry about. She's very easy to prepare and get in steam. I go on the track at Canvey, first person on. Canvey's a nice flat track, nice and fast, long dead straights with return loops at each end. Trojan's massive water tank and a nice superheater once it gets hot. I got 14 laps before I needed to stop for water. However, the bit I'd forgot, to my own detriment, is that 14 laps is too much not to re-oil round, especially when going at constant speed. The lubricator had ran dry. She does over oil. I need to attach it back, but more is better than none. And doing 14 laps of probably too fast, but a good speed, and there was no oil left on any of the motion in the middle. Didn't realise this by now. This is in hindsight. Carried on. I was playing for about probably another hour and a half. By now, other people had come on the track too, so it was a bit stop-start. And it was during this stop-start where she got lumpy. She had developed a rattle before that, but you know, steam engines knock. And now she got lumpy. She was galloping, which for an 040, unusual. I know she got with a bounce, but she doesn't normally gallop. She normally just sort of sits down and bumps a little bit. She doesn't properly pitch. She was galloping at slow speed. I've had her gallop at high speed when she hits some uneven track, but not at like barely cracks the regulator. Okay, not right. We'll pull her off. Pulled her off on the steam bays. The steam bays were over grass quite handily, so I laid underneath it. Only to find the valve gear had slowly taken itself apart. Only one side was still vaguely attached. Both die blocks had shattered beyond all recognition, and I think there was a corner of one still in one side. On one side, the eccentrics were not straight. This led to the rocker shaft on one side that you saw me fix the bends of a couple of videos ago now, coming out and smashing into the rods. So now when Trojan, my brilliant little Trojan, is great fun, very capable, and it's like I don't know how to describe her. She's very excited, does Trojan. She got too excited and took herself apart. So now whenever I hear a rattle, that kind of rattle, especially a valve gear related rattle, I get quite nervous. So let's continue with the story as we try and investigate what is rattling now. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. What's rattling now, or where did the rattle come from? It's Halloween after all. We're going to speak. Okay, now silly season over. So with bantam cock, I can connect the compressor. It's a fridge compressor, mind. Up to the actual pump fitting or injector fitting, or one of those. No, not injector. Actual pump or hand pump fitting in the back of her to get air in the boiler. Can't do it on Trojan. She's a tank engine. She has no rear hose connections. So we go on with the blowdown. There's the radiator kit that fits the blowdown up on the running board. So it's a direct feed into the boiler. Regulator is set at half open. Drain cocks are open as well, I think. We'll find out now. I can't really see in there. But let's turn the pump on. No, the drain cocks aren't open. So open those. And we have motion. So we'll let it get a few revs in, and then we'll shut the drain cocks. We've got a leaking gland as well, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's close the drain cocks, which you can see up there. That will slightly increase the rate, but it won't get much beyond this. It's about as fast as it will tick over on this compressor, which is quite a nice little speed really. Everything's had a really light splash of oil. But let's have a gander inside, shall we? Don't know what we'll see in here. Okay. So down there you can see the expansion links. And there's not a lot of play in those die blocks for once. Doesn't look like there's too much on the axle pump up front there. Certainly not a lot of note in those eccentrics. Okay, let's go back to watching these. You can see both sides of them. You can see the arch drop arms. And there's a fun, there you go. See that fun little click? Not that click, that one. You can see the lifter jump a little bit. A little bit wearing that lifting pin, but it's nothing major. Okay, so something's throwing that. Now, from experience, that's caused by the rear axle shifting, i.e. wearing the eccentrics normally. But do viewers remember this wheel here caused problems before with the rear axle shifting? Although back then it actually locked up, didn't it? Can you remember what happened? I'll give you 10 seconds to shout at me. Ready? No? Get on it yet? This wheel was loose on the axle, wasn't it? I bet if we turn the compressor off, turn the pump off, and crack a blowdown, the gauge glass blowdown maybe, just to stop it completely and drain it. I bet if we turn this slightly so we can get to it. Have a look at that. Right, ready? If I grab this. Oh yeah, look. Surprise, surprise. Surprise of all surprises. The wheel is floating on the axle. And again. I must admit, last time it was just a bit of a bodge fix on the steaming bays. Didn't really have a chance to clean it up all that properly. Because it was pre-imlic, if you remember. Well, this is going to be a bit of a repeat operation, isn't it? Drop the rods off, take the wheel off. Okay, so taking the rods off then. So we've got to undo that nut, spring that out, take that and the bolt out the back. Just let the rod, the piston rod drip down. Piston rod. Rod drop down, undo that, one at the front. Take that off, take that rod off, and the wheel should come off in your hand. I mean, it shouldn't, but it's gonna. So it's a quarter spanner, and I do like these US Pro 90 degree ones, they're handy to whip that off. I'm trying to make this shot real time, just to show how easy this is. And I'm going to rotate the wheels a bit to get the rods at the top, and then go up a size of spanner nope, too big. So is that 76 minutes. Okay. It's not one of those spanners. So that means one of these spanners. Need a new packet. That's cool stuff. 0BA, apparently. Finger up behind. Take it off the front. Push it out the back. Get it so far back. Tilt it slightly, and there it comes. Push that forward, drop that down. Alright, then we open the Allen keys, and we take a stab at a size. Oh, look at that, straight away. Oh, but of course, these are all Loctited. Oh, blimey! Right, let's put the brakes on. I'll try and put the brakes on. Might help hold the wheels still a bit. There we go. And that's happened like, there we go, take that off. And there's the rod off. So we'll lay that aside because there's nothing wrong with it. I've just moved you, haven't I? Hopefully you can see. Right, I'll go rods down. Take the brake back off. So I can move the wheels to rods down to get to the front one. Brake back on. Hope you turn the brake handle the right way. There we go. Brake that all away. Put that aside. Take the Allen key with them so we know what one it was. Carefully take it off. And I keep whacking this because I'm putting everything behind the camera. Right, then if we take this brake, wind this brake out of the way, you'll see the problem. This wheel, very firmly attached, the whole thing moves. This one, not so much. Let's wind the brake off somewhere. Put that brake block out of the way because that's what's holding it on. There we go. That ain't right. We'll catch the key because it's got this little key in it. These are keyed to the axle. Right, there we go. So there's Trojan's rear driving wheel. Right, so off we'll have a look at the crank pin. No real wear to note on the crank pin. You can see where it's been running there and there, but there's no real wear on it. There's nothing really on there either. Right, so the bit you're not going to see me do is the degreasing of that and the keyway, because that's just deadly boring, isn't it? Degreasing. Right, wheel is back on, thoroughly degreased. Degreased once, wiped it off, degreased twice, got the fan heater you can hear on it, so it got hot and evaporated. Did that with the axle as well as the wheel and the key. So now you just need to leave it the data sheet for the Loctite said 72 hours is to 75% strength cure on the cure. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it for 3 days. Come back, test it with the old wiggle test, and then reassemble. So see you in 3 days' time.